I showed my cheating wife how ruthless I react to small mistakes. How can life take a 360-degree turn so quickly? If you had seen me 6 months ago, I would have been a happy man, content with my life. Now I'm typing my life story on the internet to ask people what they think I should do. Yeah, I'm that desperate. I'm male 32 and have been married for 4 years to my wife, a female 30. I work in a tech company while my wife is a homemaker. We have a baby girl who turned 1 year old last month. I met my wife Maria 6 years ago in a club. I went with a group of friends. We casually started talking to each other and then danced together for a while. She was a fun girl. That was my first thought about her. We didn't get each other's contact number or anything. We just danced and had some drinks together and then went our way. You should have gotten her number, bro. My friend Ethan told me a few days later he was teasing me that I had fallen in love with the girl from the bar. Yeah, I really should have, I replied, sighing and rubbing my eyes. I couldn't get her out of my mind. I was regretting not getting her number. I was out for a work lunch with Ethan, but the client got stuck in traffic. So it was just us. Me and Ethan have been friends since college and also started working in the same company. Holy fuck. You aren't going to believe this, he said, his face wide open, in shock. What I said, and turned to look at what had gotten Ethan like this? Oh, I said, a smile finally coming to my face. Entering the restaurant was none other than the girl from the bar. I saw her laughing with her friends as she made her way to their table. I couldn't believe that I was seeing her again. The regret of not asking for her number finally left my shoulder. Maybe it was in our destiny to meet again, I thought ludicrously. I wasn't going to repeat the same mistake again. I called the waiter and sent her a martini. She ordered that drink that night at the bar. This time she gave me her number before we went our way. We started chatting a lot. She was working on temporary jobs then, for those of you who don't know what that is. So while there is a vacancy and the company looks for someone to fill them, they hire people in those positions to fill it temporarily. She didn't know what she wanted to do permanently. She liked that her job didn't need any long-term commitment, and she could leave when she was bored from that particular job. I liked talking to her. We both were single and just wanted to have some fun. We went to clubs together and partied many times with our friends. One thing led to another, and we kissed each other one night outside her house. I really like you, I told her. She told me that she liked me too. We started hanging out with each other a lot more. We would spend weekends in bed. I was really happy to be with her, and I thought it was a mutual feeling. Maria was quite beautiful. Everywhere she went, guys would turn. I couldn't believe how lucky I had gotten. She would tell me how guys flirted with her wherever she went. It never surprised me. I thought it was because of her beauty. But it wasn't just that. One evening, when I took Maria out for dinner with my friends, I noticed something that night. She was here as my girlfriend, but was still smiling and flirting with one of my friends who was single at that point of time. It felt a bit weird to me, but I thought maybe they are just being friendly. It wasn't just my overthinking. During our course of relationship, I noticed her various times openly flirting with other men. One time, when I confronted her about it, she told me that it was just healthy flirting and didn't mean anything. I told her that I wasn't comfortable with my girlfriend openly flirting with men. I didn't do that, so I thought it was fair on my part to expect the same from her. She told me she won't do it if I don't like that. And that was the end of the conversation. She stopped flirting, or healthy flirting like she called it. Our relationship went well, but we also encountered rough patches in our relationship. Even though Maria told me that she stopped flirting with random men, I would still see her passing sensual smiles to random men. Sometimes she would get texts from men asking her where she is and what she's doing. I would confront her about it and she would get angry. She would tell me that I didn't trust her, and it's just my insecurity talking. When we had fights like these, we stopped talking to each other, and then she would come and tell me that she's sorry, and some sweet things. I was a young man in love. I couldn't resist her, so I used to let it go at our second anniversary. I popped the question to her to marry me. It was an instant yes, to both our delight. We got married with our friends and family present. Maria told me that she didn't want to work anymore. I told her that if she doesn't want to, then she doesn't need to. I worked enough for us. I did quite well at my work. Along with my job, I made certain investments which turned out to be really good decisions. I was happy. I could provide a comfortable life to my family. Our life was going well. We had a good life. I wanted to expand our family, but Maria said she wasn't ready for it. I understood her becoming a mother was a commitment for life, and I wanted her to be completely ready for it. I didn't have to wait for long, because after 2 years of marriage, Maria told me that she's ready to be a mother. She said it felt natural for her to be a mother. She soon got pregnant with our baby girl, and everything felt too good to be true. We were going to be a complete family. Our baby girl came into this world around a year ago. She looked so beautiful in my arms. She was a perfect balance between me and my wife. I held her in my arms while I sat with my wife on her hospital bed. My family was finally complete, and I was going to do everything in my power to give them the best of their life. Maria didn't have any complications during the birth of our baby, but she suffered postpartum depression heavily. I hated seeing her like that. Doctors told me that it was more common than I thought. They said she will heal with time. I made sure to be there for her through all of it. I took leave from office to be there for her and the baby. She started feeling better after a month or so. She told me that I should go back to work, even though I was reluctant at first about leaving them and going to work. I resumed work. The work had piled up when I went back after leave. I had to work extra hours to compensate. I felt bad that I was not able to give enough time to my wife and newborn baby. It wasn't fair for Maria to handle the baby alone, especially when she had just started feeling better. Work wasn't something I could ignore as well. I found a solution to it. I hired a nanny for a baby so that Maria could also have some time to herself. I told her that she should go out with her friends and all. She was reluctant at first. She didn't want to leave the baby and go anywhere. I convinced her that it was all right. Biggest mistake I ever made. She started going out with her friends. The first time she went, I saw how happy she was when she came back. She had always been a party girl, so it didn't surprise me. I told her that if it made her happy, she should make time for herself. She hugged me and thanked me so many times for being understanding. I didn't think I was doing a big thing. Any husband would want his wife happy, and I was doing the same. I came home early from work to be with the baby when Maria had plans with her friends. We had a nanny, but I thought it's best if one of the parents was with her most of the time. I didn't want my daughter to get raised by a nanny. I appreciated the additional help, but I liked to be an involved parent. Maria was also happy, as she was able to enjoy her life like she did before we were settling in our new life with the baby, even though me and Maria weren't spending much time together. I was content that she's feeling better. I thought soon everything would be fine and we'll spend a lot of time together. But we never did. One night after Maria came from hanging out with her friends, she told me that she's very tired and going to sleep. I told her to go to bed, and that I'll come to bed after putting the baby to sleep. I put the baby in her crib and went to our bedroom. Maria was fast asleep when I came to the room. I joined her in the bed and was going to sleep as well when I heard her murmuring. I turned to look at her side. Her brows were knitted together. She did that when she dreamt of something. She was calling someone in her dream. Jack, she said it wasn't me. I didn't even know any Jacques. I was confused as hell, but I was like, maybe it would be a random dream or something, and then went to sleep. The next morning, I didn't remember that something like this had happened the previous night. Everything went normal. The next few days until all of it came apart. Maria had gone for her friend's night. I was at home with our baby. I was watching television when the door opened and Maria entered. I smiled when I saw her, and she smiled back. She took the baby from my arms and kissed her. She told me she's tired and was going to take a shower before hitting the bed. I was replying to some mails on my phone, but then my phone ran out of battery. I searched for my charger but couldn't find it. I must have left it in the office. I went to our room to take Maria's charger. I was looking for her charger in her bag when I got the shock of my life. There was a hotel bill and a packet of condoms in her bag. Why is there a hotel bill? And condoms in her bag? We didn't use condoms, and I sure never went to this hotel room. I stood there like someone had poured a bucket of cold water on my head. My wife was cheating on me. When Maria came from the shower, she saw what's in my hands and her smile slipped. Her face turned pale. I waited for her to tell me why she has this with her. I was sort of hoping that what I assumed was not true and she hadn't done anything. But the look on her face told me that I was right. Maria realized that there's no point in lying anymore and started crying. I would have felt bad if she cried any other time, but crying after going behind my back. I had no interest in making her feel better. She told me what I already knew. I made a mistake, she said between crying. It was harmless, you know. I wouldn't initiate something like that. I kept looking at her. She continued talking. Then she told me how her friends go to the same bar every time. She told me that the bartender kept flirting with her. She didn't flirt back with him at first, but he didn't give up. I thought it would be just harmless flirting, she told me silently. What happened next? I asked in a neutral voice. She said she didn't expect her flirting to lead anywhere. She thought it would be fun to do for the old time's sake. He kissed me, she whispered. Her words were breaking something inside of me. Then I asked. We were alone at that time. All my friends had left, and I thought, I'll have one more drink and then call the driver. But suddenly he was so close to me. He thought I was interested in him because I flirted. Then he kissed me and I couldn't stop him, she said as if having a word vomit. What do you mean you couldn't stop him? I asked. Her. Words sound ridiculous. I kissed him back and I don't know what happened before he took me to a room of that hotel, she said without meeting my eyes. I knew I wasn't going to like this, but I didn't think her words were going to hurt like this. You slept with him? I summarized for her. She continued, explaining her cheating to me. I don't know what I was thinking. It was completely irrational. Please forgive me. It only happened once. It was a small mistake. What's his name? I asked her. Jack? She whispered. She was dreaming about this guy in our bed. I didn't know what to say to her. The nerves of this woman. She had the gall to sleep with a random dude at the bar. And then to come home and tell me that it was a small mistake. Small mistake? My foot. She knew bloody well what she was doing. My anger was taking over me, and I didn't want to say anything to her. I told her I'm going to sleep in the guest room and then left her in the room. This happened 2 days ago. Now I'm avoiding her. I stay at the office till late and leave home early in the morning. I don't know how to deal with this mess. Kind people on Reddit, if you know what I should do, please tell me. I literally have no idea how to handle this update. It has been 2 weeks since that night when I found out Maria cheated on me. Like I said, here I was avoiding her initially because I didn't want to look in her eyes days past, and I kept doing just that until I couldn't take it anymore. I went to a bar and got drunk like I had never been before. I didn't get drunk like that even when I was a teenager. I decided that I was going to show my wife the consequence of her small mistake. I caught the eye of the woman giving me a smile. Usually I would have ignored it, but not that day. It was pay time. I took that woman home. I opened the door and took that woman inside. I made a grand gesture of welcoming her in and took her to the living room. My wife was avoiding being in the living room when I was there, or any room for that matter. But I knew Maria was watching. I asked the woman to kiss me, and she obliged, happily. I let her continue the kiss, knowing my wife is watching me with another woman's mouth on my mouth. I wanted Maria to see this. I wanted her heart to hurt, just like mine did when she told me that she slept with another man. I could hear Maria crying, but you reap what you sow. She deserved this pain. She caused this mess in our home. I stopped the woman when I heard my daughter crying and told her to leave politely. She made a pout, but left grudgingly. I went to the baby's crib and took my daughter in my arms. She stopped crying after a little bit. She gave me so much peace. I put her to sleep and went back to the living room. Maria was there. Her face covered her hands. I know you wanted me to see that. I didn't reply, and then went to the guest room. The next morning I woke up with a bitch of a hangover. I went to the kitchen to get something. When I saw that Maria was making coffee, even seeing her filled me with anger. That's why it was best to avoid her. I made this for your hangover, she said as she passed me some green liquid. My head was throbbing, but I didn't need her help. Don't act like my wife now. But I'm your wife, she said like my words had hurt her. Oh, really? Didn't remember that when you slept with another man, did you? I didn't have time for her drama. I grabbed a bottle of water from the fridge and went back to the guest room. I took some medicine and started feeling better. I wasn't proud of what I did last night, not because it was against the dignity of my marriage. That ship sailed when Maria went to that hotel room. It wasn't just my style. I knew Maria was hurt the way she sobbed last night, but that wasn't enough. I wanted her to suffer. I was going to make that happen. I called up my lawyer and told them to make the papers as soon as possible. They told me it will be ready within 24 hours. The next day, the papers were sent to me in my office. I wanted to see Maria's reaction when she saw this. Just as I was leaving work, I got a call from Maria. This was the first time she called me after that night. She came home. I picked it up thinking it could be about our daughter as well. I came to the mall to do some shopping, but they are saying the card is blocked. That's the first time she called me, and that's because her card is blocked. Figures. That's because it is. Shock took over her voice and she started telling me that I can't do that. I didn't have time for her theatrics. I told her plainly, I think I just did, and then hung up on her. I found Maria waiting for me at home. You can't do much shopping if you don't have the money. She didn't waste another minute and started telling me that I can't take her money from her. I know you're upset, but don't act like this. The audacity of this woman knew no bounds. I told her it wasn't her money, but my money. I just liked providing her with everything because she was my wife. I don't want to spend any more on a bitch like you, I told her. She told me that legally she's still my wife and has the right to my finances. That brought a smile to my face. She was confused as to why I came smiling. You are my wife, but not for long. I gave her the divorce papers as my words drew understanding on her face. The divorce papers clearly stated that I was filing divorce because of my wife's adultery. My lawyer had told me that we'll get full custody of my daughter since we were getting a divorce because Maria cheated on me. She wasn't going to get a single penny from me. It was worth paying my lawyer the hefty fees. I wanted Maria to be stripped of everything I provided for her. She was going to be on the streets. Maria didn't have any assets or any money except for my money. I used to think of it as our money, but now it's my money. And I was going to make Maria suffer and make her regret cheating on me. I bet she already did. Update. It has been a year since my last update. I'm happily divorced now. I have full custody of my daughter, and I didn't have to pay anything to Maria, thanks to the loopholes my lawyers provided. Maria moved out from the house a year ago when she was taking her jewelry and her designer clothes. My lawyer, who was present that day with two of his assistants, told her that she cannot take it out of the house as it belonged to me. The shock on her face was so worth it. She left everything and was about to leave when I stopped her. She looked at me with hope, like, I'll give her all that. But she was mistaken. I told her that she forgot her ring. It was a 3-carat diamond. I wasn't going to let that bitch keep it. I don't think this means anything to you, since our marriage never did either, I said as I took the ring from her and threw it in the fireplace. Why did you do that? She asked, like she couldn't believe her eyes. I didn't want you to have it. Doesn't mean I'm going to keep it, I said calmly. She was visibly humiliated and then left the house. I have not seen her since. She doesn't have any money or any home. Last I heard, she lived with some friends of hers before they kicked her out either. She didn't even ask to meet our daughter, and that was perfectly fine by me. I didn't need her negativity in her life. I'm perfectly content with my daughter. Everyone who heard my story till here. I'm really thankful to you. I'm grateful for all your comments and advice. It felt relieving, sharing my story with all of you.